Hi, so a little about who I am. I am Trevor. I work in the cybersecurity background. I work with AI daily with multiple areas in cybersecurity. I am a one man shop as well. So, one man shop means I do everything pixels. I do from ordering to building to props to pushing all those pixels in all those little tiny holes to the cabling to the soldering, and then all of the programming. I do DJ's pieces because I'm mixing music, and I'll show you that in a little bit. I do all sorts of stuff with everything, but I am a one person doing the entire show. I use Gilbert Engineering props. They are right close to me. I live in Arizona. I use FPP. I use Raspberry Pis, and then I use Falcon controllers. That's a little bit about who I am. And today, what I want to do is a tutorial and a quick workflow of using AI and how it's aided me, and showing how I query AI, what it's given me, the results that I've gotten, and the pieces of that has helped me get things quickly off the ground. What this is not AI doing everything. I don't just say to the AI, hey, build me a sequence with this music, and it goes off and does it all. It cannot do that. It does not have the sequence. It does not have the context. It cannot have that context. That XML file is huge. There's no way for that XML to be created by an AI, at least today. Maybe next year. So let's go through my workflow. At the very, very start is the initial thought, saying, I want to build a sequence. What do I want in that sequence? And so what I'm doing in here is I use Gemini just because it's free. It was part of my plan, and it's been very awesome about giving me results. So if I scroll up to the very top here, I've already done a Halloween show with it, so I use that same dialogue, and now I say, now I want to make a Christmas show. This time I don't want it to have as much host back and forth talking. I want to have more music. And I want Jack to do this, Jill to do that. I actually gave it a lot more information than what I usually do. This is probably 3 times larger than what I tell an AI to do. Just because I had some ideas that I wanted out. So when that happened and it came out, it gave me a whole script, something that I wasn't looking at, what I wasn't looking for, and I guess it lost the idea of what I was trying to do because it came out with a whole idea of Jack and Jill are sitting next to the fire and they're listening and da 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 da, and it didn't understand some of the ideas that I was trying to do. So, but what it did do is give me the Jack and Jill conversations, and it brought in Santa, which was awesome. I thought that was a great idea, and then it went through that. So now what I need to do is so after I've gotten the dialogue, I've gotten everything that I needed, I start grabbing it all, putting in a text file. So I have all of Jack's, I have all of Jill's, I have Santa's, I have all the song lyrics, I have everything that I need, all the words that are going to be used in this sequence in one text file, with no person saying this is going to be Jack and this is what he's going to say. I just got rid of all that, and it just has the words. Because once I grab that text, I make my audio file, and that is a whole slew of DJ stuff. So I use one to share Fillmore. I'll tell you about the lyrics in just a second. Let me take a sidestep. This is where I build the audio, and so I make sure I have the right snippets of songs, and I look at the vocals that I need, and I haven't even told you how I get the vocals yet either. So I'm gonna take another sidestep there. But this is what I use. This is how I pipe in. I built an 8-minute show with 7 different songs. There's actually 6, but the 6 different songs in there, and then all of the vocals of the Jack and Jill. So let me just give you a snippet of Jack and Jill, and then I'll go back to show you how I got Jack and Jill's voices.
Classics that feel like a warm hug on a cold night. And I'm Jack. I think Christmas music should be fun, fast, and full of sparkle.
All right, so yeah, there's a little bit of snippet. It's awesome. So I got their voices from an AI. It's called text to speech. This text to speech. Oh, it's gonna be loud.
I'm a text-to-speech system. Here's an example of my most
All right,
recent
thank you. All right, text to speech. That was just a demo, so I was trying to show you what the voices would sound if you roll over it. But this is what I use, 101soundwords.com. They are awesome. They work very well. I've found the two voices that I really like for Jack and Jill, and I found Santa, I found Darth Vader, I have found all sorts of voices and made things happen. So I'm really excited about this place. It is all free. You just work through it. You make sure that you have good pop-up blocker, and you're good. Just because there is some different things that come up. So, got the vocals. I plugged them into Filmora. I got the songs, plugged them into Filmora, plugged all it together so that they're all in the right sequence, and worked out the timing so that there's the right timings there. Then I pushed that to an MP3. I exported it and made it MP3. After I have the MP3 and after I have all of the words, I then give that data to what's called Autolyrics. This is made by Lightning Fanatics. This is by the famous guy that we've all probably watched his videos. This is his free version of AI, and what this does is it gives you an X timings file. This allows you to sync the voices to the mouth movements that you will have to your singing faces. I definitely suggest that you give them something. Give them some coffee money. Say, hey, thank you so much for the support of this. It's an awesome thing, and it saves you so much time. So I would definitely suggest giving him some little bit just to say thank you. What this will do is it'll give you a single X timing file with all of the vocals and all the mouth movements, and you'll be able to plug that into your sequence. After I have all this, it is time to start opening Xlights, and I can finally start getting a little bit into Xlights. This is the final, so I'll kind of walk you through it. What I have is my MP3, and then I'll tell you about the beats and how I get them in just a sec, but then I have my lyrics. At first, it was just a one-liner, or all the lyrics together. That is the first flood through, and so when I get that first one, I go through and I make sure that I have all of those lyrics, and I'm going to try and find some lyrics here, so that I have all these lyrics and they're all here, they have all the mouth movements. I make sure that they're all aligned, and that's about 95% there. It's gotten even better than when I used it for Halloween, because in Halloween I had to elongate the very last word of everything for the majority of the words. So if there was a string of words, and then this was that last word, I had to draw that out just a little bit to rebuild it so that it was a little bit further. And so that's where I had that. That's where I had that experience in Halloween. But now it gave me an elongated piece this way. So some things have been being taught to this AI to help it out. But this is awesome because it gave me 95% there. I listened to it, and as I was listening to it, I was elongating each word. And it worked out fine. I was done in 10 minutes. There's that piece. So now I wanted Jack and Jill to have their faces up at the same time, but I wanted Jack's mouth movement to move with Jack and Jill's movement to move with Jill. The only way I found out to do that is to make two different X timings. So Jill's lyrics are on one line and Jack's are on the other. To do that would have taken some manual effort. I would have had to go into that X timing file and start stripping it all out, and then finding all the mouth movements, stripping it all out. So what I did is I just gave that to AI, and I said, all right, AI, this is my X timing file. These are the lyrics for Jack, Jill, and Santa, and all the songs. I want you to separate it. And it thought for a little while and gave me something. I said, okay, give me just Jack's. Just give me Jack's lyrics. And it gave me the Jack's lyrics. It gave me all of the words for Jack. I was like, no. I need a new X timing file with all of Jack's lyrics. And those are the good keywords. It finally piped it out. It gave me an Xlights or an X timings file with all of Jack's lyrics and all of Jack's mouth movements. Done. Now I just said to the end, all right, do the same for Jill's. It piped out the X timing for Jill. And that was great. I was like, oh, cool, awesome. Then just start and do Santa. And so I did Santa's, and I was like, all right, now let's do one song at a time. So give me the first song, then the second song, and it went through it all. It did it great. And I was able to make all of them done, and what it piped out and what it gave me is, going back to Xlights, is I got these lyrics. So I had Jack's, Jill's, Santa's songs, and I had another songs. I didn't rename it, but these are the extras. These are the backup singers, and I wanted mouth movements for backup singers, so I separated those as well. All of that was done with AI and those things right there. The other thing that I've done with AI is figure out the beats. So all of us hopefully know about or adding a timing track and using these beats and these beat metronomes, and we all probably have gotten mixed results. Because of that, I have been using a program called Moises, I think it's called, actually, Moises. It's the musician's app. It is awesome. I feed the MP3 file to this, and I say, give me a smart metronome of these beats. And what it pipes out is simply this. And when it gets to the faster parts of the song, because I have 6 songs here, right? So that has to have the faster parts. It's going to do the faster parts. So those are faster areas. It finds it. It's very smart. It goes through it and gives me those. Why this is so important is because now I can use Xlights and I can go on those metronome beats. All I have to do is replace this audio file with the exported audio file of that beat from Moises. And how you do that is you just go to File, you go to Sequence Settings, and you change the media to the MP3 of the metronome beats, and then you just add a timing track with that beats in there, which I have found the 2 best are Bar and Beat Tracker with beat count, so I get the 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know kind of where things are, and then Beat Beat Tracker beats. That one is, those 2 have been the best that I've used so far. I've messed around with a couple more, but they just don't seem to do what I want it to do. So after I've done that, and after I've gotten my beats, I might do that again for drums. I'll grab the drums MP3 and import it and show it, and then build another one for drums. So once I've done those and I've gotten those all out, and then all I do is I go back to my sequence settings and plug in the original MP3, and I'm done. And I have the original audio track here. So that's all done. That's everything AI. I pause there because I'm not getting to the effects with AI. I do not build the effects area and I do not sequence effects with AI. It just doesn't work. It's not ready. AI cannot keep that in context. That's where the file just gets ginormo. I have had some success with an idea with effects library, and I say these effects work with these models, or this group can use only these certain effects. I have had some has some ideas there, and it has semi-worked. It just can't continue the effort if the file just gets too big, and it just can't work it. Haven't been able to get it to work through the entire sequence file. So, saying that, let me go through some tips and tricks here and go through this. The first tips and trick, make sure all of you know about your groups. You built your groups. You've understood what your groups do. They are huge. They will make things amazing. You will go from good to great with your effects. One effect that you apply with one group of area will totally change when you apply it to the other group on the same prop. So if I have my group on arches and I have the top set a top arch with one group and the bottom arch with another group. It's going to make the effect do awesome things when I start playing with those things. I can make these snowflake spinners, or I can make them flashers. I can make the bows light up with one color and the rest of the presents light up with a different color, or I can make the stars light up and do other things that the other present does. You have to get to know your grouping and make sure you have very solid groups. You know what they are. They are very important to have. Gilbert Engineering has great starting groups for your props, but you have to play around with it. It does take time. It does take hours of work, but you will be very thankful once you get to the sequencing part. Now, on to sequencing. A tip and trick here. I rarely go right here and say, I want a new sequence, and I'm going to just plug it in here and then start messing around, and maybe one works, and no, that one doesn't work, so I'm going to go to the next one. No, that didn't really work. Let me try. Oh, I know that shockwave worked with this one. At least it's doing something now, and now I can tweak it. That takes so long. I don't know what you guys are doing when you do that. That doesn't make sense. What I do is I have an effects library. I have spent hours doing the effects library. And what I do with the effects library, what I mean by, what I do is I go on an airplane ride and I have 3 hours and I'm building effects for the various groups, for the various props that I have. And I'm going through and I'm be like, all right, how can I make shockwave work with this group? I do this, I do all these tweaks, I make sure it looks good. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that one looks awesome. Now I save it. So in the effects presence area, I right click on there and I go to effects presence. In the effects presence, I have multiple effects for all of my things. Excuse me, losing my voice. So for my arches, I have, what just happened? I killed it. I dragged and dropped. That's funny. Oh, fun. I'll have to do some kind of interlude music with this one. No, I didn't make any changes. All right. Coming back. Here we go. I'm back. So with this being said, I build my effects library. I am going to come down here. And so I had a effects right here. I'm going to go, I got to make this bigger because I have so many lyrics showing right now. So what I do here is I look at presence, for example. I go to effects presence, and then I look at this and I'm like, all right, what presence do I have that can do things? And I don't happen to have something for presence, so I'll have to go through those. But if I'm building the matrix, I have all these for matrix in the effects library. I have built these over time. They have multiple effects in one effect to overlay and to make sure that they build. I have things for canes, I have ornaments, snowflakes. Some of these aren't as built out, but then some are a lot built out. Whole house effects. They just keep on going. So this is my effects library. This is the bread and butter of how I get things going, because I'm like, all right, I want to make tree stars do something. What do I want to do? Well, let's see. I can go to my effects presence and actually look at certain things rather than fiddle around with settings and only be limited to what I remember and what knowledge I had. I can have saved effects. So that's my tips and tricks. Hopefully this has been helpful. I hope that it's helped you understand a little bit about what I'm using AI for. It is not a one-stop shop. It is not going to be, I have the sequence, I have this audio file, I want to make a sequence, and then it does it all for you. We're not there yet, folks. Maybe next year. But for now, I'm signing off. Thank you. Happy sequencing. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hopefully things go well. that you could get your props up, and I wish you all luck. See you later.